Boker Tov, brothers, come close. It's still the Rebbe's Yortzeit. We're still in the coattails of the Piasetz's Yortzeit, so we get to learn the Rebbe's Torah this morning. So, not so simple. Who needs a page? Or, meaning, hold on a second. Who didn't buy a sefer yet? You're going to get a lot of this if you keep on coming back, by the way. Yeah, okay. Anybody else need a page? Anybody else? Okay.
Check my bag.
Here you go.
I'm picking up the extras today.
Here you go. 1 second. Yishnei lev simcha, ay arzanu ala tzadik, ulei yishnei lev simcha, ay arzanu ala tzadik, ulei yishnei lev simcha, ay arzanu ala tzadik, ulei yishnei lev simcha. Who else needs a... Anybody else need? Dvir, you have? Josh. There you go. Let's start page Yud Aleph. Those of you that have the Sfarim Yud Aleph, we're in the bottom paragraph on Yud Aleph. Quickly recap what we did last week, even though it seems thousands of years ago, last Sunday. But last Sunday morning we were learning about what Yoni and I were just discussing about if each midah, specifically kas is what we were speaking about last week. If each midah has a to'elet, has how is it to'elet, like an advantage? Benefit is the context here is benefit. If each midah has a benefit, to be used the other way around as well. And then when it comes to last week, one of the midot we were speaking about last week was the midah of akshanut, which someone here changed the meaning of it from being stubborn to, I think it was Avi Miller, from stubborn to becoming persistent. We were talking about that midah of akshanut. I think it was Avi Miller. Then we spoke about the thing which is the most, Baruch. Yalla. I'm sorry, a lot going on. The midah of kas has to do with a lot of different sub-issues. Not just angry. Many times we think we're dealing with something, really inside what we're dealing with is actually anger. It's like it's hidden beneath what I think I'm really having a hard time with. So the question was, what do I do with the midah of kas? And more importantly, how does a teacher that detects the midah of kas in a student take that midah and do what a mechanech, what an educator is supposed to do with all supposedly negative characteristic traits that they initially see in their students, in their children? So first of all, just to answer it on the outside, what can be done with kas? If Chazal tell us, Kol hakoes ki'ilu oved avodah zara. So what can be done with kas? So while we were learning last week, 2 more Yidden were killed. While we were learning, we didn't know about it because they didn't release the news till a few hours later. While we were learning, 2 more Yidden, beautiful Yidden, a mother of a baby and a father of, I think, 3 children. He had tickets to a Shlomo Artzi concert the other night. He was supposed to go to it. Shlomo Artzi found out. He did a whole dedication from his show, beautiful dedication. This guy went to work early that day, sitting behind his desk. It was relatively early in the morning, so that he could make sure that he could be at home and sit at the table for dinner with his wife and his children. So, what's the midah of kas? Where's the room for midah of kas? Because definitely this avodah zarah of becoming apathetic has swept Am Yisrael, putting us all into a very long-term coma, which we're still trying to wake up from and slowly just snap ourselves out of it. So in those situations, now I'm going to ask you, so where could there be midah of kas in a healthy and holy way over there, in this situation? The B'ditchever says, Ohave Hashem sinura. Rabbi Yitzchak says, if you love Hashem, it means you automatically hate evil. So you don't have to work hard on the hate, you have to make sure you're working hard on the love. And the natural totza'ah, result, of infusing yourself with love will be to hate evil. But there's a big difference between sinah and kas. Right? Sinah is not kas. Anger is not hatred. But there's definitely needs to be some kind of button of anger when Jewish blood continues to be spilled. It's just a miracle that no Yidden were killed yet today. It's a complete miracle. Complete miracle. The Chayal was nearly kidnapped. Mamish, it was such a nace that he was not kidnapped over the weekend in Gaza. They had him, mamish, a knife to him. 20 of them stormed the gate. The whole story. Now it's coming out now, this morning. It's nisim. So the midah of ka, like, are you angry? Are we angry about this? Are we angry about this situation? Or are we, like, what are we? What is the non-politically correct response to me? Right? Ka, listen, the Rebbeinu Shalom created this inyan of kas so that when we have inyanim of retichas halev, which means the boiling of the heart, it's a wake-up call and say to us, okay, I don't want to act upon this kas, but I want to act out of kedusha, but it's definitely indicators for something. It must be indicators for something. A mechanech that sees this in a child, it's very hard for them at the moment that they detect this in a child to see the advantage, the benefits as it's happening. Because all the educator is trying to figure out is, how do I just contain him and prevent him from right now burning down my classroom? Right? That's what the mechanech has to worry about right now at that moment. But the PSS is demanding more from mechanechim. The Ish Kodesh is demanding more from parents who, whether they like it or not, have joined this crew of mechanechim as well. So let's look inside. In the pages that I gave out, I think it's right from the top, and it's the bottom of Yud Aleph. And I want to, this is a very long Hakdama, and I want us to just get as much as we can today. האם יכולים לשער מראש את גודל התועלת אשר יכול המנהל והמחנך להוציא מתוך רעת כעס הכעסן הקטן, כאשר יחדור אל קרבו ויקרבהו וילהיב את ליבו ונפשו שיהיו מסורים להשם. When an educator is in the midst of that moment of how do I deal with what's in front of me right now, when I see the badness of the kas of a student that's in front of me, the PSS is saying, is it possible, like live in Boz Manit, to see, wow, I see this anger in a kid. Wouldn't this be gewalt if I'd be able to turn him on right now? That just as much passion as he has for the anger, I can make him burning coals, passionate to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's much easier said than done. Now we're reading this not in a classroom, so like, oh yeah, that would be a really good thing if every educator could do this. To make this, forget children in a classroom. Your child ever throw a tantrum? Your wife, your spouse, relative, whatever it is, someone that's close to you, yourself has thrown a tantrum. So while it's happening, can you imagine looking at your spouse, they're throwing a tantrum, you're like, wow, with this passion, I can't imagine what your next mitzvah is going to look like. Right? The Rebbe is saying that the elite educator, that's where he's mechavening to. He has to be able, before he goes into chinuch, to know his receptors for how to deal with seeing midos that seem to be awful and seem to be destructive, and understand that he was given the privilege and opportunity to have a prophetic vision of what can be used with that which seems destructive. Right? Just like all the educators that we send our children to have. Right? I'm being very sarcastic. No one understood what I was saying right now.
But as his parents, let me do that. I'm just
Al achas kama v'chama. Nachon? Nachon?
We don't do it for our own kids. We love. So we expect a teacher to do it for a kid who's just signed up to his class. But we're not
The
asking
Rebbe
the
expects
parents
that.
to do it.
The Rebbe expects that. That's why this book is so revolutionary. The Rebbe does expect
And he
this.
certainly expects the parents to be doing it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What's this called? This whole Hakdama? It's a Sicha. What did it say over here? Im ha'melamdim ve'avot habanim. Yeah. With both. Okay, back inside. Harei le'esh shel mala.
Exactly inside our week.
Your book is different than our book.
Oh, sorry.
So you said last paragraph here, but we're in the middle of this paragraph.
You want to show them where?
It's not the bottom. It's like
It's in the middle of
third
this
of the way
paragraph.
down. Right now.
Sorry.
On Yud Aleph.
Harei le'esh shel mala. Do you see those words? Harei le'esh shel mala yitapech ka'aso. His fire, the kid's fire, can be transformed to eish shel mala. Kol ma'aseh avodah asher ya'aseh kegachalei esh yitlahavu. All of his work that he does can be transformed to burning coals, burning passionate fire in avodas Hashem. V'chol diburav asher yidaber la'Hashem b'torah u'tfilah b'kol chotzev la'avot esh yir'am. Meaning the PSS is saying, you see a kid that has this in him, understand that they also have the ability to be a burning coal of fire when they talk to Hashem, when they engage in Torah and mitzvahs. You have to look at him like that. וכבר כתב הרב, מורנו רב שנר זלמן בעל התניא, he quotes the בעל התניא right now, זיכרונו לברכה, בסידורו, בפירוש כגוונה, התפילה מהזוהר הנאמרת אחרי קבלת שבת, וזה לשונו. This is what the Alter Rebbe says in the Tanya, in his Perush on the Kegavna. החמימות שבכעס, שמסתעף מן החמימות שבלב. The chamimut, the heat that's in anger, is really
Branches out.
it's branched out, thank you, from the heat and the warmth that's in the heart. That's what it really is. V'chol ha'adam ha'ratchan b'tiv'o. And anyone who's naturally a ratchan. Roteach means to be like, huh?
Boiling. Boiler, but a hothead.
A hothead, yeah, a hothead. Alul teva levavo lihitlahavut berishpei eish hachuka. Excuse me. The Rebbe says the nature of his heart, you should know, is coming from this eish hachuka, the burning passion. He just hasn't figured out a way for that passion that he has in his heart to channel it through Dvarim Shebekdusha. And it could be this kid is coming back in 4th or 5th or 6th Gilgul now, just waiting for someone to show him how to channel that anger and how to use. I'm not looking at you because you're dafka gingy. I'm just saying the gingis have it, right? they have it inside. They're just waiting and waiting and waiting for that one person to come and say to them, "This is what we do with you."
One time, a Rav who I consider a master teacher said something like that to me. We were talking about a chevra, and we were talking about what some of the guys do on the side, and he was like most interested in the ones who were passionate about something else, they hadn't been turned on to Yiddishkeit yet, but they had some passions outside.
Interesting.
And I was like, what's the deal? And he's like, because there's something to work with there. The guys who are sleepwalking, he says it's much harder when the guy is like really has this very similar type of idea.
Okay, next, after the Tanya. הרי מכל שכן כאשר ימצא איש כזה בקרב גופו ונפשו איזה שמץ וכתם, when a person like this finds in himself some type of a stain, כמה כעס וחמה יתמלא, and he gets filled with anger, את יצרו הטוב ירגיז ואת הרע מקרבו ישליך אף ישמיד. He'll be able, if this person has anger, then when he sees something inside himself that he doesn't like, he'll be able to use that same anger to completely legaresh, to exile out, to kick out from within him this which he doesn't like within himself. Meaning, if you're passionate and you want to start working on yourself, but you have this midah of kas, and then you start to see stuff that's bubbling in you. You start getting thoughts going into your mind that you hate. With the midah of kas, you'll wake up and say, I'm sick and tired of this. As opposed to either saying, I'm just a lo yutzlach. It's my nature. It's not in my cards to be someone that can conquer his midot like this. But the Baal, the Loratchan, has the ability to get up and be angry and just like say, enough is enough. I'm done with this. You know? The Piaseczner is asking each of and every one of us, by not even asking us, he's saying, when was the last time you saw something in you that you didn't like and you weren't okay with it to the point that you got angry about it? And that you decided at that moment, Shalom Aleichem Neil, good morning, and that you decided at that point, I'm absolutely done with this. Warrior style. Literally. Yeah. Okay. He has a sefer. It's okay. He's using words. Et hara mikirbo yashlich af yashmid. You'll take that bad that you see in you, and you'll demolish it. Ve'im et zulato yeyaser ve'et acherim al pneim yochiach lo yizalzel ve'lo yicharef. Now, what happens when you see this in other people? And you're a Baal Ratchan. So the Piaseczner Rebbe says, if you know how to use your midot that are in your nature, he's saying, and you're naturally inclined to tell someone something, he's saying over here, don't worry, diburim rak pshutim yedaber. Say what you want to say. Don't say it with anger, but say it. Aval diburim asher keyore kolachat yerutchu ucheyam zoef mikirbo yishtofu. וגם מנשמת זולתו כוחולי וחתם ימסו ויעקרו. This is amazing. The Rebbe is saying like this. This is really far out. This is really far out. The Rebbe is saying like this. Those that are a little bit of hotheads, it's not just about themselves. It's usually that people tick them off. Not that they're ticked off by themselves. So one of the things when you're ticked off by other people, you want to tell them off. You want to tell them off because it's in you. So the Rebbe is saying, and Rav Kook brings this up as well. You know how sometimes that guy, remember the gefilte fish handshake kind of guy? We spoke about him a few years ago. That he was such a fiery, passionate guy. Then he did tshuva, and he thinks that tshuva means to actually kill all the stem cells that give him koyach, right, in his body. So then you meet him like he used to be like this varsity, this like jock in high school that used to run track, and then he does tshuva. He ends up in a Baal Tshuva yeshiva, and after 2 years, the guy used to pump iron. Then you see him a few years later, you see him, and he gives you like one of these hey, Shalom Aleichem handshakes, hey, Shalom Aleichem, because he's killed. All the energy within him is killed, right? So the Rebbe is saying a person that has this mitzad teva to tell people off, but he's in the midst of working on himself and realizing his kas issues, and he's burning to Hashem to be able to be like a fiery coal towards HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He says, eventually, your words are coming from such a passionate place inside that even when you tell someone what you want to tell them gently, it'll mashpia on them like burning fiery coals. Meaning, you think in order to get your message across, you got to tell the guy like this. He's saying when you're really working on yourself and you're trying to channel that within you that usually comes out in kas, the end result will work. What's the end result? That your words will mashpia on the person with passion and fire. But it'll be kli shemitkabel. It'll be able to be received.
He's also saying don't suppress it, don't hold it.
Well, that's very important.
It's huge.
Very, very big.
Otherwise
You'll explode.
Exactly.
You'll explode.
So you just switch. I'm just trying to figure out. You just switch. Before he was talking about how you approach the person with the kasan and the khan, right? And then now he's all of a sudden saying, now he's speaking to the kasan and the khan. He's saying, you think yourself that you need to chef this midah. In reality, you don't need to chef it. You need to keep it and just speak calmly, even though you're urcha-ish.
I think it's good what you're saying, because he's basically saying, you think this whole time we're talking about somebody else.
Right.
And now he's like steering, he's like, sorry.
If you mechanech who have anger issues,
Yeah. You parent.
or parents,
Yeah.
and you see your child doing something that they
Right.
shouldn't do.
Right. But then he's switching it over and saying, and you see it in yourself as
Right,
well.
right.
So when we know with the child, he's saying, oh, the inyan is you were given the opportunity to see what could come from a person's passion
Right.
with the child, right? Not, but you have to do that on yourself as well.
Well, maybe it could also maybe be hinting to the fact that certainly with parenting, you have a child who's acting out, who's getting crazy, it can stir up anger in you, and then how do you respond to the child? How do you come to that? If you
For
just start
sure.
screaming, you're not helping them
For sure.
channel their anger.
But that happens to us quite often as parents. We think that if we don't show them how mad we are about what they did, they won't learn the lesson. Usually that doesn't
How
work.
effective is that?
Huh?
How effective
It's not so effective. But, so he's saying, trust the process. What's the process over here? The process is that if we're looking at this with PSETs in our eyes, eventually when you tell your child what you wanted to tell them before, but from an inner calm, don't worry, you're a passionate person. The words that you'll say will fall onto them like a yoreh kolachat, which means like a fiery arrows, right? But not in a way that's destructive.
Because it will come out in a way that with a confidence. Weinberger speaks about also
Yeah.
about this idea of, first of all, if they're in the middle of something, it never helps
To stop.
to
Right.
like if you discipline them on the spot, it never works. But it
Right.
speaks about is basically saying you come out with that confidence to them in that calm way after, because hopefully, I guess he's talking to the mechanech who's
Right.
figured out how to channel these passions.
Mm-hmm.
But you're doing it in a way that says, "Trust me, I've been there,
Right.
and it's gonna be okay." But you've got.
But the
to find a
mechanech
way-
thinks that he has to do it now.
Right.
If I don't do this now, then what?
He'll never learn a lesson.
He'll never learn a
okay,
lesson. And
yeah.
what does it say about me as
Right.
an educator?
Right.
And I failed.
Right.
If I don't do this right now, if I don't correct them right now,
Right.
right? I failed.
There's also
It becomes about you
Right.
and nothing to do.
Right. What if the principal walks in and sees that I'm letting some kid?
Exactly, right? What if my wife comes in and sees that I don't? Right? It's the same, the principle.
Yeah, there's another element here, though. It's like, I'm not going to speak on that. I'm just speaking about me as a parent, right? If my kid is throwing a tantrum and my response is to throw a tantrum back, then like I'm not giving them a model of how to channel my emotions. I can still be passionate and be like, the way you're behaving is not okay. I don't accept it. You're going to have to sit in the corner and scream for a little while, but this is not okay. And
Right.
instead of channeling it with the anger that I want to hit on that emotion right there in that moment,
Yeah.
and I'm giving them a model to copy.
Nachon. Nachon.
Because I think kids are smart and they know that when they're angry, they say things and do things that they don't mean. I know my kids, like, they've come to me and like, I didn't really mean that. You know, and so if you're displaying to them anger in that way, in their mind, they're also saying, that's just angry. He doesn't really mean what he's saying. And so if you're trying to teach them and they're in this place of like, he's just angry, he doesn't really mean what he's saying, even if it's a good lesson to be learned, they know that when you're angry, you're saying things that you don't really mean.
At what age do you think this what you just described happens?
What they
I don't
start
think
having
when
that
they're-
realization.
I don't think when they're 3 or 4 that they're like this.
No, but I think certainly when they're 7 to 7 up, they start
Yeah.
feeling that way.
My 5-year-old can, I think.
Detect what he's saying, yeah?
Yeah.
That it's not really, he's not really,
It might be because it's entirely subconscious.
I can't hear you?
It might be because it's probably entirely subconscious. Understanding something
יכול להיות, yeah.
in the younger stage.
יכול להיות. Let's go further. ועל זה, now the Rebbe is calling it out. Look at this. ועל זה ידvidve ליבנו ותיסמר שערות ראשנו. Our hearts should be broken. Those of us that still have hair on their head, the hair will, בראותנו את הדור הצעיר, when we see this young generation, איך יצא נתכפר. Nitkaper means, look how this generation has become kofrim. Nitkaper. V'deotav deot shel kfira. This generation, their deas are thoughts of heresy. Rahman al-Islam. En bo lo emuna, lo yir'ah, ve'lo Torah. They have no faith, they have no awe, they have no Torah. Son'im hem et Hashem, yotzram, ve'et Yisrael avadav. What did the PSS Rebbe just say? They hate God. This generation. Son'im hem et Hashem ve'et yotzram ve'et Yisrael avadav. They hate anything affiliated with God or with Am Yisrael. מנהלי וראשי הישיבות הנמצאים בראשם ורובם בתוך ישיבותיהם ותלמידיהם. The menahalim, the principals, and the Roshi yeshivas that are heading this, and most of them are just with their own yeshivas and their students. אשר לצערנו רק בחורי חמד נגד עיניהם מתנחמים לאמור. So they see a few cute yeshiva guys that are sitting in front of them. So how do they console themselves? By saying, הן אמת שיש עתה הרבה חופשיים. Okay, it's true that there are, a lot of people that are on the loose, right? אבל לא אלמן ישראל, Israel's not a widow. גם בני ציון המצוינים בהלכה ועם השם לבבם נמצאים. There are those that will always be with halacha. Everything will be okay. אבל יושיטו נא אלה את ראשם חוץ מארבע אמות של ישיבותיהם. What a startling sentence. Take your head out of the own daled amos of your own yeshiva. ויראו נא את ההמון הגדול החופשיים רחמנא ליצלן. Shlomo once said, it's true the rabbi has to have an office, but did he forget that there's a concept called the street? ויראו נא את ההמון הגדול החופשיים רחמנא ליצלן. He's saying, it's crazy. If you go out, look at the masses that have checked out. I know you want to console yourself because you have an enrollment of another 30 guys for next year's Shana Aleph. But please, the numbers that you're working with are jokes, right? צור נתמלאה מחורבנה של ירושלים. בתי המדרש היו מלאים לומדי תורה נתרוקנו. The Churban of Yerushalayim. There were, as much as you might be happy with like a little yeshiva program that you have going for yourself, he's saying to the Rabbeim at the time, the Beis Medrashes that used to be packed are empty. תחתם נתמלאו אגודות וחבורות. Instead of them, what's been filled? Groups. אשר מטרתם כפירה ומיאוסה של תורה רחמנא ליצלן. All these groups have come together. Instead of the numbers being filled with filling the Beis Midrash, what have they come together to come to do? To desecrate, basically to say that everything that you stand for, Rabbeim, is wrong, is not worth it. אף בעלי מלאכה וסוחרים אשר מלפנים, אף אם לא היו לומדי תורה, מכל מקום יהודים נאמנים יהיו. He says, back in the day, even people that used to be like storekeepers, shoe shiners, even if they didn't learn Torah, they still were faithful Yidden, right? מכל מקום יהודים נאמנים היו, ועכשיו כבני הנוער כפרו, נדו ונפלו לבאר שחת, רחמנא ליצלן. Those same store owners, the Pashto Yid, didn't have any time to learn. He mamish could have to bring home a tiny little paycheck just to feed the family. But you know what? He used to be nam on the Torah and mitzvahs. Even that Yid is fading away. He's gone as well. Very much so. I mean, we have to put the context of this. This sefer was written in 1932 in Poland. Of course.
Not that we don't have that element strong today, too.
But it was very strong then.
Enlightenment.
האם נסתפק בקומץ התלמידים אשר בישיבותינו בלבד? Are we satisfied with our Shana Aleph program? That's really what he's saying. האם זהו העם ישראל כולו? Is this Am Yisrael? He's putting rabbis here, mamish, at the task. He's making them look outside. He's saying to them, do not let yourselves feel too good about yourselves. If you have 3 rows, there should be 3,000 rows. There should be that. Where are they? Ephraim. Now everything he said right now is kind of a reason as to why the yeshivas are empty. Why shuls are empty. Why they're not coming. Like sometimes, honestly, this is going to be very hard to say. But I'm going to say it anyway, because since Ari died, it's just like, since Ari was murdered, truth has just like, en malasa. There's no, right? This is amazing what we have, huh? How many guys do we have here this morning? Right? How many guys do we have here? 20 guys? This is a joke.
Well, in terms of numbers.
This is a joke. We're Torah observant community. Why is this considered an amazing thing? It's sad, like in the pneumius of things, right? Whatever, I'm being very harsh, but I'm just...
Relative terms, this is great.
On the contrary. On the contrary. On the
This is relative terms.
let's decipher what the word relative means. Whoa, here we go. This is exactly the point. That's exactly.
This would be different, but we're
Why?
in relative
Why?
terms.
Why should it be different?
Because we're a working community. That's why.
That's why.
People have schedules. People have to be there. Deadlines.
I wish what you said was the reason why it's not packed in here every morning. I wish.
This is great, I think.
Josh, here we go to the core of things. We can make ourselves feel nice, like Baruch Hashem, we woke up for a shir, but we're going to the core of things. What you said is, I believe, is exactly the issue, exactly the problem of all of this, is that we're looking at things in relative terms, but the question is relative to what? So you're saying Me'er Sharim and Geula, so that means because we assume that no one works there, which is it's not something I want to believe in either. But because of that, what? So because they are more from, they learn more, we should, what we have the numbers, there's, how many thousands of people live in Efrat? 10, 11,000 people live in Efrat. How many of them are men that maybe aren't working on a Sunday morning? It's not their fault. I'm not blaming anybody. So we have to have a whole revolution in terms of how we approach the concept of chinuch. That's what the Rebbe is saying. He's not grilling them saying it's your fault they're not there. But what he is saying is, it will be your fault tomorrow if you continue to just say, I'm okay with my own little yeshiva. You hear the difference? He's not guilting anybody over here. He's forcing us to look bigger, to look at things with more wider eyes, with a larger lens view.
You're asking us, he's asking us to look at it, that we have a responsibility to the community.
Absolutely.
Not just to our houses or wives or
Absolutely.
children.
Look beyond your dollar.
Look beyond your dollar amas.
Take it to the streets.
Take it to the streets, right.
What's that? Nation. He's saying the Am. Yeah, Baruch. It's broader than the. Yeah, Yoni's right. He's used the word here. Ha'im zeh. These words are amazing. Ha'im zehu ha'am Yisrael kulo. Like, what are you trying to connect with? You want to be part of it. You say Am Yisrael Chai. You're putting yourself in the midst of a much larger context. It's responsibility to all of Am Yisrael. That's why it's always so important to be so thankful for what we have. But Rabbi Shlomo says, when you walk through gates, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to make the gates wider. He says, you don't just walk through gates saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. You walk through gates, a Yid walks through gates like this, pushing it out wider. That's how that's B'ezrat Hashem how we have to do it. So as amazing as it is that we have what we have, we can take this up, B'ezrat Hashem, we can take this up a notch as well. Each person in their own way. Okay, let's continue a bit more. Va'im gam betalmidei yeshivotenu kvar betuchim anu? Are we so certain that with that which the stock that we have, everything is fine as well? Va'im ba'em kvar asinu et asher alenu la'asot? Have we done with them, those that are showing up, have we done with them that everything that we should do with them? Hen emet. By the way, everyone sees it inside? Hen emet. Hatalmidim shekvar higiu lekitot hagvoot. It's true. Those that reached what we called in my high school AGT. In Yula, that's what they call the advanced Gemara track, right? So those that reached the AGT, right? V'ifrat otam shekvar higiu lehora'ah. Those that are now teaching ve'et kresam mil'u b'torah avodah, and they filled their tummies with Torah and work. B'hem kvar betuchim anu yoter. So we're a little bit more, but we feel better about them. B'ezrat Hashem, sheyisharu beichal kodsho u'ba'avodat hakodesh. We feel a bit better and more confident that they'll end up staying with Torah as they get older. Aval ha'im, look at these words, and this is really important because not everyone gets to AGT. Aval ha'im kulam yagiu lakitot hagvoot. Will all the students reach those the top classes? Kama min hatalmidim asher bakitot hanemuchot אי אפשר להם להמשיך את לימודיהם הלאה. You're going to have a lot of kids They're going to be beautiful children, but you know what's going to be the thing? They're just simply not meant to steig from 9 to 5 every day. It's not in them to learn Torah from morning to night. It's not in them. So how certain are we that they're still going to have an atmosphere, a ruach of Torah in their midst when they get older? These kids are going to either forcefully or willingly go into the marketplace. They're going to go work. It's what the Midrash says. It's a very interesting Midrash. He says 1,000 people go into studying Torah, maybe one of them comes out actually teaching, right, afterwards. ובמה אנו בטוחים שלמחרת בעוזבם את הישיבה או לאחר זמן קצר לא יתפקרו ולא יכלו את השבת חס ושלום כאשר עינינו בעווננו כבר ראו. The Rebbe is saying, I saw this. What did I see? Students I would have never believed that could ever machal Shabbos. While they were in yeshiva, it was fine. The day they left, they themselves could never believe. They themselves would never believe I'd be done with Shabbos. I'd be done with certain things. But en ma la'asot. The draw outside the yeshiva is so intense. It's so magnetic. It's so convincing. And it's so attractive. It's so attractive. So the Rebbe is saying the second that they leave, how do we know what's going to be with them either? And there's actually, the Rebbe once got ridiculed pretty bad because he came to a certain community, or I think maybe it was even in PSS, and I don't remember where it was. Shem, maybe you know this story, where he got up and he gave a drasha speaking really harshly about Chilul Shabbat. Really harshly about it. You're saying, what's the chiddush here? What do you mean? What's wrong about saying something about, well, the Rebbe was the lover, he was the one that everyone felt safe and comfortable with, but they're going to deal with such guilt right now. And one of the guys, and the Rebbe was speaking specifically about one of the big people in the Kehillah who was there at the speech. He was there and he tried to start challenging the Rebbe while he was talking. So the Rebbe is seeing these things firsthand. Everything he's saying over here is not theoretically, it's all things that he's seeing in front of himself. ולמה זה לא נתקס עצה גם להם בעודם אצלנו? הלא כל הנוער אשר מתפקר בידינו נמצא בנערותו. The Rebbe is saying, look at all those that checked out, and then look at those that are still in your midst, your students that are still by you, and realize that this can be them any moment. And time flies. The Rebbe is saying, take a good look outside the Beis Midrash. Now take a good look back at what you still have to work with, and now open your heart and basically admit that you need a lot of Siyat Dishmaya. You need a lot of help. It's heavy words.
Went for a walk through town last night. I don't feel it.
You don't feel so good?
No.
You want to move to West Hampstead? Beyadenu nimtza bena'aruto. We have them while they're young. Ubechadarenu nitgadel. They're growing up in our cheder. Lama ze nazveu. Why? How can we let them go? Eventually, mi bli kshor oto ve'et nafsho el Hashem uletorato beyalduto. V'yitkayem gam et ziknuto. What pasuk is he harping on? Chanach lanar al pi darko gam ki yaskin le'yaser meno. This is what this whole pticha is about. But he's doing something very important over here. He's really saying something amazing. He's saying, look, you need a lot of guts to realize that if you don't look outside and realize what's out there. So A, you're not really part of the Am. That's for sure. You're not really part of the bigger picture of the Am. But B, you're not really aware of the danger which sits in front of, yes, little Chaim 7. But he's going to be 17 in the blink of an eye. Like this. Like the other day, Bina and I were, I couldn't believe we had the first, kind of real bat mitzvah talk about our Tiferet, and it scared the daylights out of me. It was like, no. Not yet, Odlo. I mean, come on, Avi's bar mitzvah was around the corner. He was 3 last week. Not 10 years ago. Last week he was 3. Right? Right? This is happening.
Wait till they get married.
Yeah, wait till they get married. He's saying, while you have it, while you have them, What are you going to do with it? You got to go through this with it. You got to be really brutally honest. Know what you're working with, know what you're working against, and rip out your heart and say, Hashem, please take this, put it in your mikvah, put it back in me, and give me the eitzah to understand, to know, how do I deal with what I deal with? I cannot do this alone. I can't do this alone. It's bigger. Now, if the Rebbe is saying this in 1932, what would he say in 2018? He's saying it in 1932. What's the guy Listen, let's talk this. Describe me a rebellion of a PSS Nefchassid in 1932. It's Shabbos. Oh, right? Oh, right? Maybe. In the worst case scenario, that's what we're dealing with, right? In the worst case scenario. Right?
Like he said,
do I do it or not?
He said that they're going into groups that are actively being kofar, that they're actively, the rebellion was that they're actually not just being like, okay, I'm not into it. They're coming and saying, I'm fighting against it, and I'm actually going to teach you that what you're doing is wrong. That's a big rebellion. Yeah, it's funny because I'm thinking about Rav Kook. You know, Rav Kook is still alive over here. Rav Kook passes away 3 years later. He sees the same thing, but he sees that it's being used in a mitzvah of binyan yeshuva aretz. So he's like, okay, I got something to work with over here, right? He sees also like young kofrim getting together and be like, forget Yiddishkeit, forget Yom Kippur. Like he once said, Shavuos was like they knew all this young generation, they knew a lot of Torah, right? So he says like he came to a moshav or something, and there was they wanted to show them how they celebrated Shavuos last week. So there was a huge sign on a tractor. It said Chag, what Shavuos, Katzir? Which Shavuos called? Or no, it was after Sukkot, and it was a big sign that said Chag Asif on the tractor, and it was showing how they went through the fields and they gathered, on Sukkot, because that was for them the inyan of, right. This is not what we're dealing with. We're not dealing with Yidden that are like, let's try to do something very passionately Zionistic or alavai that. We're talking about nothing, the anti of all of it. I don't know exactly what he's referring to.
I'm trying to think of maybe at that time if there's any communist groups that the youth were joining or something like that. Like what was going on in Poland, Russia area. I don't know. I don't know what he's referring to in terms of
you mentioned last week that he's kind of responding, getting back to the roots of what Baal Shem was trying to teach. Yeah. So if that's the case, then it seems like he's probably saying about that the whole idea of this the Chassidut has now become elitist. And Chassidut
very
has
good.
their own, B'dei, Mikdash, and everything else like that. And if you don't have fish before you have whatever on Shabbat, then you're not part of this group.
And you're saying that he's calling them
No, he's not calling them. He's calling them.
Well, wait. Let's do. Hold on. One more paragraph, and we'll finish. This is very good. Bichlal regilim anu lehabit al bnei hanor mitkaper. We're used to looking at the youth that's going through kfira. Ki'ilu rak hem ashemim badavar. Ve'anu legamre nekim. What are we used to doing? Oy vey, look at them. Look at them. Oy, I wish they were like. I feel so much how much they're so far. Ve'anu legamre nekim. Aval mikol tzitkat Avraham Avinu. Hiskir Hashem v'amar alav. Everything about Avraham Avinu. What does Hashem say about Avraham Avinu? Ki yedativ leman asher yitzaveh et banav ve'et beito acharav v'shamru derech Hashem. What is it said about Avraham Avinu? From all the nice things you could say about Avraham Avinu, what did he have together? His house. He had his house together. He got his house to be able. They would follow derech Hashem. Shamru derech Hashem. Kol dor vador beYisrael. Every generation of Israel. Tabat b'shalshelet hayuchsin shelanuhu is a ring in the chain of yichus, of lineage. Shirosha kshura be'Avram Avinu. Its head is connected to Avram Avinu. V'sofa b'Mashiach tzidkenu sheyavo b'meher b'yameinu amen. Those are the two ends of this link. Okay? Kol dor mekabel emunah, Torah v'yirah min hador shekadmo. Every generation receives the Torah and Yira and Avodas Hashem from what the generation that just passed. Ve'oved b'en et Hashem u'mosra l'ador she'acharav. And then it takes what it has and passes it on to the next generation. U'leman asher yitzaved banav ze ikar kiyumeinu. How you're giving it over to your children, That is the Ikar Kiyum of Am Yisrael, he says over here. Ikar Kiyumo. So he's really, really putting things on the line right now, and he's saying, you know, you want to say that you're a good yid, but as a parent or as a teacher, if this isn't what's going on within you, like an Avram Avinu forming your home, the Shamru Derech Hashem, then what are you giving to the next generation? You don't have to worry too much. Why? Look outside right now. Leave the yeshiva and the shul right now. Look right now outside what this generation has received from the previous one. Now go back into the Beis Medrash, go back into your shul, and see who you have. And now how are you approaching the privilege of parenting and the privilege of educating? And so you're going to say, okay, so it's clear to me, I want to get my act together. What do I do now? And the Rebbe is saying, this is just the Hakdama. Don't worry. There's a whole book. There's a whole sefer. Patience. As long though, you know, like in Bnei Machshava Tova, he kept on saying, listen, if your Inyan is not to become a prophet, more or less, just stop. Right? Just stop reading the book, right? Just if your Inyan isn't to be part of a chabura that truly, truly, truly wants to strip away any illusions and go for the core of everything. The Rebbe said this a few times. Ana azov. Please leave us, right? So he's not saying it just literally over here. But what it could mean over here is the Rebbe is saying, if you don't view parenting and education like this sefer is not for you. But we know that this sefer is for us. And we need it so badly. And we need it more today than we ever did. And I know the previous generations said that about that generation, and it was true about that generation as well. But it's all the more so true about our generation right now. What did we receive from the past generation? Our parents were post-Auschwitz. They couldn't give us as much as we really needed. It's not their fault. That's a cheshbon with Hashem. You can't be in love with God passionately, b'simcha, after the gas chambers. So we're in this like in-between, situation now of like, for our children, that teirutz is not maspik. Because we weren't there. We have something else. We have this hitgalut elukit of coming back to Eretz Yisrael. But in terms of the passion of being connected to Torah and Eretz Yisrael, that's on us. What are they going to receive from us? What are they going to take from us? And then what are they going to continue on? It's Avram Avinu and it's Mashiach. We're here, but every single generation, he's saying, so many are dropping because no one connected them to where they came from or to where they're going in a way that they'd want to feel passionately excited about it. And that's our avoda here right now. That's what we're doing here right now. We'll continue this B'ezrat Hashem Tuesday morning. If I can have the pages back, that'd be good.
I'll look it up and see. I think that your version is ever so slightly different than the one that I bought for the rest of the group.
Oh, really?
The Lashon is almost identical, but there are subtle differences. Just so you have a heads up, if somebody ever looks lost.
No, I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get that one.
I'm picking up 5 today.
Great, so I'll buy. Yeah, please.
I was speaking with Rabbi. He was telling me about the statistics of intermarriage from yeshiva flappers, Ramaz, between those who go to yeshiva and don't go to yeshiva after high school. He was telling this to a group of kids. I was with the summer group. And I was like, oh my God, he's using this as a pitch to have kids come to yeshiva. Like, it's so shallow.
Right.
He ended with, you don't want to come to the yeshiva? Don't come to the yeshiva. Go somewhere. Go learn. Go to any of these yeshivas. There's so many of them. But the statistics of intermarriage for those who go to yeshiva are so much lower than those who don't go to yeshiva after yeshiva high school. He's like, you don't want to go to here? Fine, I don't care. He's like, I don't care, don't go to me. I'm not so selfish as to say, you have to come here. I'm not for everybody. That's fine. But go somewhere, do something. He's like begging these kids.